and so highway did approve, creating another highway 1 position because it's in the budget, so it's just coming through you guys.
Yeah, any new positions need to be approved by the county board though.
It's not we have highway worker 1s, so it's
You're
just
saying-
an
you're saying
additional.
Additional though.
It's still a new position, even,
Instead of 1?
No, hiring an additional highway worker 1
Yeah.
over what they already have, and the money's currently in the budget. So they're gonna put another person on using the money they already have in their budget.
So it's not a new
it's
job
still adding an
description,
employee above what we had, right?
but the money's in the budget. They're not asking for any additional funds, and they have a plan to fund it going forward.
I still think that because it's
He's been short on help, that's why highway passed it. I mean, if you wanna know the rest.
short on help, being short on what they've been approved for, how many people?
I don't remember, but his count, my understanding is down. He's not up to the number that he should have to run that out there.
I think there were some retirements, and those positions were never filled years ago, I think is what he had said.
Something like that.
Yeah,
So there's basically, you're saying there's vacancies left there.
Well, it's not a vacancy,
Well-
they're adding an additional, it is adding an additional employee.
Correct.
and those in the
Adding
highway
an
get a
additional
wage
employee.
increase when
Some of
they
this goes
get
back
filled
to
in those
when
positions.
Ben retired. When Ben retired and Ben was doing the safety stuff, to save money, they eliminated a position and a person.
Okay, so
That was part
I hear the word eliminate.
to justify, I'm not sure, I think it was to justify kicking some more money over the asphalt plant, to be honest with you.
Probably.
That's, we haven't, and now that things, the department head has changed, it's hard to get to the bottom of just what happened. But reading between the lines, I think some of it, some money got moved around or whatever. Anyhow, Scott came to us at Highway and said he really could use another person, he found the money in the budget, so
So I'm not
we approved it to
doubting-
pass it on to you.
Yeah, I'm not doubting that they might not necessarily need another person. I'm just doubting the fact that we could prove that without a new resolution saying we're gonna hire an additional worker, because if some point in the past they determined that they weren't hiring a new person and they ended that position, it becomes a new position again.
I don't understand, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, otherwise it just.
I don't
seems really-
understand why we would have to go down that road. Unless we were opening it up to more money above and beyond what their budget is.
I just think it seems gray, right? It's like-
Because, the positions created, you're just adding one is, I guess if any other department,
administrative
if any other department wants to add another person in that department, do they all go through county board to get
So
approved?
administrative coordinator is a
That's been-
position that's created,
that's been
right?
the policy.
What if we're like, let's hire a second administrative coordinator, because that position's already created? I don't think we can do that.
I don't know how that works with highway. I know highway's got a little more leeway in some things than others, but if they don't, then it needs to go to county board.
In my mind, it's always been county board policy, any new hires have to have.
Additional position, right? I mean, you're adding an additional work, now if you're replacing,
Department heads.
right?
Oh,
Jamie quits, we need a new person to fill her shoes.
I don't think I've ever.
What if 10 years ago they got rid of somebody, now they wanna open back up the position?
Department heads.
To me, that's a new position.
Why would you have new positions, not.
This is not a new position.
What's that?
So we can just hire.
Well, Jamie had a
We
good
knew that
point,
at the
so,
meeting that day, but.
Tim, our operations manager, is retiring from the county, so
When did that happen?
his last day is August 1st,
Oh, really?
yeah. Yes,
Okay, remember the retirement policy we have now?
has he been with us for over a decade?
I don't remember now.
I'm
I
not sure,
guess
I think it's pretty close.
I I just remember we talked about it.
So there's a very good possibility that we're gonna have to look at that, at how we possibly restructuring that
Yes.
with personnel assistance. That job description that was made for that position back in the day by the previous highway commissioner is way over the top for that position. So we're gonna have to relook at that. So I don't know, we've discussed shop foreman versus operations manager. So I don't know where we're gonna end up with that either. So there'll be some more coming eventually. But
So when, you know, the item on the agenda says consideration of additional highway worker one position. What do you want us to consider?
If
I mean,
you,
highway passed it, so where does it need to go next? I guess, highway approved hiring another highway worker one position. So does it need to come through here, or does it need to go straight to county
I
board?
think it needs to probably go personnel, finance, and then county work.
You know, this shouldn't be such a complicated screw up as far as I'm concerned, just to hire somebody. You know, the two committees should be able to have some authority to do some hiring without the full board.
Well, especially if the money's in the budget, I see if we're asking for more money.
But adding an additional worker is the reason it needs to go through all the different committees. If you're just replacing somebody, I wouldn't care, give somebody some leeway, but hiring an additional more than what we've had.
Could have just been somebody that.
I mean, I guess I'm not 100% sure if he's short, is he short or not? I guess we didn't specifically ask that.
If he's short positions,
so,
and not based on 10 years ago, they cut something off.
I'm not sure on the timeline, but, so it had gone through, highway and personnel to post for an LTE position because they need help in the summer and they need help in the winter with plowing. So the way we thought to do this was to do an LTE, limit them at 1,200 hours, term them at the end of the season. But then, when we went through the, hiring process for the Highway 1 position that was vacant, it was kind of reframed that, well, we always need a bunch of help in the summer and we always need a bunch of help in the winter. So instead of constantly every year looking for an LTE, we've got the money in the budget, why not just go with another highway worker one?
We talked about holding off a little bit longer, but then we're like, okay, if we're gonna wait till the end of summer to fill another position when he needs help now, he doesn't have enough people to mow lawn, or
Yeah.
mow ditches and stuff like that, then might as well forget it, because
Yeah, but your position changed again, right? You went from LTE to full-time.
Well, they're two separate.
Okay, can I read a
Different
resolution?
positions.
Yeah.
In 2021, there was a resolution to increase the highway wages where it said, as a result of the multiple open positions and assessment of the current staffing was done by the Department of Highway Committee, it was determined that the current 4 foreman positions would be retained, but the number of highway crew positions would be reduced by 1. And as a result of that, they got a pay increase.
Are there 4 foremen out there still, or are there 3?
Okay, so
Right here too.
that was county work?
that was a resolution.
Okay, so the resolution says we're decreasing the amount of.
Reduced one and then gave an increase,
So I feel that,
but it said 4 foremen, I think there's only 3 right now, so I don't know how this works now.
And this also says, ordinances
I
shall
thought he
upon
said it was down to
approval of
3
the
foremen.
Residence Department, otherwise, it's a
I
new
think so.
county position. A
But I don't know
new
them all.
Full or part-time. And the reclassification of a county employee. Then that goes to county board. A new county position, not,
what did you say now? I'm sorry,
that's in the ordinance.
what does the ordinance say?
So a new creation of position goes to county board, is that the bottom line of it?
Right, but okay, to play devil's advocate, semantics, is it a new county position? Because it's using the same job description.
Yes,
As an
it's
existing
it's a
county
new position, because you're adding a position to that, but there's.
Is it a
adding
new
somebody to the
position
table.
or a new employee though?
You're adding somebody to the payroll.
You're adding a position.
I'm just playing devil's advocate. I'll write a resolution if you want me to.
Well, county board's next week, so let's just.
Right, and personnel meets beforehand, so,
Let's just forward it and be done with it.
alright.
Yeah, forward it to personnel, forward it to county board.
I mean, I don't think anybody here's against him
No.
Right,
putting
it's
another
in
one
the
there, we
budget.
just wanna do it correctly.
Follow policy.
Right,
For
but in
that-
2021, that they all got an increase because they cut out a position within that
And then now we're
department.
gonna add a person that they got, there was
Their
another,
department is not the one that's at the bottom of the wage
IT
scale.
did
They all
that
have it.
too. IT did that too. I don't like that.
So do you wanna hash this out in personnel then, or do you wanna just?
Well, I don't, yeah, they might as well go on both agendas, honestly, I mean, I don't see it being held up in personnel for any particular reason, especially how you get in the budget.
Well, other than, yeah, what she found. What year was that from?
2021. Resolution 21-24.
So we might have to rescind.
And this
But
then
we're
you
just,
have
we're
to-
just gonna ask that, we're
minute
just gonna ask to increase another highway one position.
Okay.
I think that's the simplest.
Operations manager, but that was the justification.
We're giving them more, cause they were taking on more responsibility.
You can't have a resolution from 21 where you reduced one worker and gave the foreman a job, a raise, be held over your head for the next 100 years if the highway department was to get bigger and you needed more employees. I mean, how can you do that?
No, we haven't.
That's actually a shitty worded resolution in the first place, if you ask me.
But that's probably how they had to sell it. So when you start selling stuff by, oh, we're gonna do it with out somebody.
Exactly.
And then you bring,
We're
it's
gonna
like,
cut one.
it's like IT.
I kinda remember that resolution now that you mention it.
That's the brilliance of a wage scale though, Phil. Now it's not just arbitrary raises, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So,
So,
all
So
right.
do we just wanna do a resolution to the county board then for that position? I
Yep.
think that would be simple, and then, I think the county board will go with it.
And if you guys wanted to, it can go to personnel, you got before county board.
I would
It has
prefer
to- it has
personnel
to
be
now.
the
Yeah.
position, yeah, or whatever.
We'll just move to personnel and, alright, you need a
Okay, we
motion
need,
for that?
yeah,
a motion to,
Or personnel.
forward the,
to approve the additional highway worker one and forward it onto personnel and county board.
So
that
moved.
sounds good. Somebody wanna make
Are
that
we
motion?
approving it or are we forwarding it?
Second?
We're forwarding it.
Correct.
Forwarding it.
I'm sorry.
Connie, are you taking that approving part out?
Why
Cause I
would
don't think
you-
we're approving it, I think we're just forwarding it for them to figure
You're a
out.
committee that's approving it and forwarding it to personnel and county board, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm not sure if I approve it.
We're not objecting.
You can vote no.
Not gonna, who seconded it?
Okay, all those,
Nice.
Tony second. On the motion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no.
No.
Motion carries. Authorization to submit pre-claim to insurance for hostile work environment investigation.
So,
Can we talk about that?
I can talk about it in, vague terms. So we had a hostile work environment complaint that was investigated by our, labor attorney. And the cost is quite high. And we can submit to, Wisconsin County Mutual as a pre-claim. And a pre-claim means that, we're concerned about the possibility of litigation. And they will possibly cover some of the cost. I just need your authorization to send it to them. There is no guarantee that they will accept it as a
Well,
pre-claim.
what is the cost? You said it's quite high.
The cost of the investigation in total thus far is about $33,000.
Well, shouldn't they have been contacted prior to that? Or were they aware of it?
No, they were not aware.
That might be a stickler there.
It might be, but it's worth a shot, I think, because there is an argument to be made that we still are concerned about possible litigation, even at this point.
Yeah, there could be some questions there, I think.
So you need a motion to submit a pre-claim to the insurance? Make the motion.
Okay, you made a motion, Phil? Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Jim. favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries. Number 4, keeping safety simple, funding source and contract renewal.
Okay, so last year you guys approved 1 year of keeping safety simple contract. It's our safety training. He's been working with departments, specifically highway and maintenance, forestry, but also doing training for all employees. So you guys approved a year of that out of contingency, but the contract is actually for 18 months. So I am wondering.
What?
Yep.
Yeah.
This was something that was
That was when
signed.
Jeremy was here.
He extended it?
Oh,
I
the
thought we only
contract
approved it
was-
for a year.
You
well,
did.
Yeah.
Why did we do
So
that?
he doesn't have the power to extend it then?
Well, the contract was just says is through the end of this year.
Mhm.
So we have the invoices in that gray folder, and I mean have it pulled up on my screen too, but I don't know where to pay that out of, because it's not budgeted
Well, I
anywhere.
guess my bigger question though is back to, if a committee approved it for a certain amount of time, how can an individual from the county just go and extend it? I mean, that makes it almost null and void, does it not? Cause that's the crap I'm getting tired of. People just taking it upon themselves to do what they want.
I agree with that.
I don't remember doing an 18-month deal, maybe I'm gonna have to eat my words, but I thought that was
We
a
weren't
year.
aware of it until the contract, we got a copy of the contract.
And then I thought 1 year was so much and the second year wasn't it supposed to be less?
Well, and maybe that's what the, you know,
I
it
think
was
that's right.
28,400 or 28,800 that was approved, and he bills us every 6 months for 14,400.
I think Andy started that thing.
Mhm. Mhm.
Didn't we pay for that out of, some, COVID money?
ARPA, I think.
Or
was it
You
COVID?
guys said that
There
was
was
supposed to
some
come
other
out of
COVID money.
contingency. There was an assessment that was done, a safety assessment for like $5,000 that was done prior to the actual
Well, we were worried
safety
about
service.
getting the right amount of bids to come out of ARPA, right? That's, I remember that part.
That was for 14, yeah. So,
Wasn't there something we were worried about, that it was the way we could take it out of ARPA or something? Cause I remember talking about ARPA.
I remember talking about more than once, yeah, but I don't remember that part.
So
I
now,
could-
the other thing is, the way we were presented is, this is stuff we couldn't do in-house, but the more I'm learning, we almost could do this in-house.
Right, so that's the second part of the agenda item. In looking through our Wisconsin County Mutual services offered, we have access to free training through the County Mutual. And the majority of what keeping safety simple does for us can be done through County Mutual. And it would be easier for me to retain records, and it would be easier for onboarding because I just enter our staff and their email addresses into the system. I assign them what trainings they need to take, and then there's a record. They can also take the trainings at their leisure. So instead of having to have everyone come in for an on-site training, they can do it on their own time. It won't impact departments.
Is there a cost to this?
It's part of our insurance
Really big
costs. It's
insurance.
through the county mutual. Then Tom Hall can do several of the trainings. Doug Pavlik can do fire extinguisher training. Phil from the sheriff's office does the active shooter training. So between in-house resources, I think we can have our training covered.
I will
That
say,
you
I think I
covered.
made a mistake on the way I voted on that, but it was presented differently to me, it wasn't you presenting, don't worry.
Oh, okay, alright, good.
Don't worry, that's somebody else, but, yeah,
Well, if we approve 28,800 and we're paying 14,400, that again tells us that we only approved it for a year.
Yes, it's in the minutes.
But I
So-
thought the second year went down.
Because it's a smaller number of days, I think. He
No, there
bills by
was
the
an
number of
initial,
days.
they said there was
There
an initial
cost for the
onboarding
first year
because to
get it
bring
all
everybody
going.
up to speed, right?
Yes.
And then after that, it was gonna be reduced.
Decrease for the second year, I thought.
Yep, I remember that.
This
So-
contract does not state that. It says Rusk County will be charged a flat fee of $14,400 between the dates of July first and December 31st, 2022. Hours are based on time spent working on the client's materials and projects. Rusk County will be required to pay $14,400 by 7/30 of 2022. Beginning Jan. 1 of 2023, Rusk County will be receiving 24 days or 192 hours throughout 2023. The first payment of $14,400 is required by January 30th, and the second payment is required by July 30th. So when we got that invoice, that's when Jamie flagged it and said, why are we paying another
So
$14,000?
24 days, is that 2 days a month?
It averages out to 2 days a month, yes. Most of that is spent at highway.
$14,000 for 6 months, I know.
Correct.
14,400.
But another thing, guys, before we get the cart too far here, we had also, Ben had retired and Ben was the safety guy out at highway. And when that position, there was something with that position, when it went away, we thought it'd be cheaper to go this route and everybody benefit off it, I thought. That was part of the discussion, than to replace that person doing the safety out there at the highway. I just don't remember it going past a year. But,
So you're still under contract then, right?
Correct. We have to give him a 90-day notice. Otherwise it will auto renew.
90
So in other words,
days,
they're gonna auto
A 90 day
renew
out,
August
yes.
1st.
wow, that's a really crappy contract.
They're gonna auto renew August 1st.
No, it would auto renew on October 1st, I believe, because the contract is through 12/31/23.
I got a feeling somebody didn't even read that before they signed it.
So
Well,
we're
I get
already
the same feeling.
past the 90 days.
Yeah.
No, we have until October 1st to give our notice.
Oh. Good. So we're stuck for the second half of this year.
Yeah, because he's already rendered, well,
I mean, we could ask him, but
to release us. So this, well, no, we're already in July, so I'm sure he's already rendered services for July.
And we didn't give the 90 days notice.
Correct.
So either way, we're
Yeah, we're stuck. We're
we're
hanging.
stuck on this one.
Yep.
I think just because of the way the contract's written, I think we should, I don't know what committee this is gonna go through, but I think it should be terminated.
I tend to agree.
I
But
mean,
before
you guys
October
approved
1st.
it to begin with, so I feel like you
Well,
would,
you know, at the same time,
it's,
we, you know, we thought, we may not be getting what we think we're getting, put it that way. This is
Well,
all.
I guess we
I
need
mean,
to
I
talk.
think he's giving us I think he's giving us everything in the contract, it's just that
Either way,
when we,
Ashley and you are saying there's a cheaper way to do it through
Right.
insurance and works better for systematically for getting all our files uploaded and everything, so. Even if the contract was good and we had agreed to a year and a half or whatever they tacked down there without us knowing, it's still, we just don't need it.
Maybe we got time on that aspect of it. Why don't we let Ashley work with the department heads that this affects and see what their thoughts are, because they've been through his trainings before I personally wanna jump the gun and say we don't want his services anymore. I just don't like the contract with the 90-day out, that's the only reason I wanna cancel it and renegotiate it down the road, would be part of it.
So maybe next finance meeting, bring it up again after she's had a chance to check it out.
I think so.
but I need to know today where we're supposed to do that.
It came out of where the first time?
Contingency.
Contingency, and then we never budgeted it after that.
Well,
We only thought
no,
it was,
because we were initially told that it was going to be, all paid, we thought it was gonna all be paid in 2022, but he split the cost between 2022 and 2023, so 14,400 went in 22, 14,400 went in 23, but now we have another 14,400 that we weren't expecting.
You know,
That wasn't approved.
I remember who pitched this to us now.
I do
It's starting to come back to me a little more, and I do not recall a $29,000 a year price tag coming with this.
I have the minutes from the meeting, in front of me right now, it was approved at the May 19th, 2022 Finance Committee meeting. Employee training. Keeping Safety Simple has provided the county with a proposal to include 24 days of annual safety and compliance training at a cost of $28,800. Motion by Meyer. Second by Ratzak to approve the contract with Keeping Safety Simple out of contingency dollars.
Well, I never said that, I was talking. I just don't remember it being $28,000 a year. I think it was that mid-year thing, and I thought we were getting by at $14,000 a year probably, and I forgot it was June.
But I think it was just the first year was supposed to be at that rate, there was a second.
That part
My
of it stuck in my
recollection
head too.
is
But I mean, so much stuff comes
after
through here,
12
but
months, it was supposed to go down because they said, you're so far behind, this is what we need to get you up to speed.
That's what I thought too.
And then they were like, if you don't do this, I mean, we're so far out of compliance, we could get in trouble and all kinds of
well, I'm gun shy now because I just got proven wrong, so I'm gonna let you go. But that's kind of, unless there was another topic that came through like that got reduced, but I thought it was this program.
No,
But it's not in the minutes, so.
Well, I think we're still obligated to pay some money here for 6 months at least, I think the way it sounds. So I think we have to do that. And Jim, your suggestion is talking to the department heads to see if it's a worthwhile program in their eyes. And, you know, an option, like, Ashley said, is with the.
And then we're gonna have to revisit
We
it
got
again.
2 months then to give notice if we want to.
and then I mean, but we still gotta tell Jim or that.
By our September meeting, we probably should have this back on our agenda again to come to a consensus.
In the meantime, Jamie's gonna know where to take the money out of too.
Yeah, I think contingency is probably the
Yeah,
only place.
contingency would probably be,
So we need a motion for that?
yeah, we would.
I'll make it again.
Okay, got a motion by Jim to pay the, safety training fees out of contingency, is there a second to that?
Don't look at me. What's in contingency right now, Jamie left, did you say?
Well, it's too early to tell yet, but because we had $700,000 budgeted in contingency, a lot of it for the wage increases, IT positions approved out of there. But again, we don't, know exactly how that's gonna shake out, so I'm not doing transfers for that yet. There was the, those guys, tree service, a portion of that was allocated, towards, out of contingency, the Trails End cleanup, and, some of the drug court training.
Or are you worried we're gonna go over budget on contingency at all?
Not yet, but I mean, there's still unallocated money in there, and I don't know that we're gonna use the entire amount that we had allocated for wage increases because we implemented it after January 1st, and some of that will be recoverable through grants.
Okay, we do have a motion on the floor to, on the.
Nobody wants to second it.
I'll
I think it's
second.
gonna die.
Tony
Tony
did,
did already.
got a motion and a second, so if there's no further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no, and motion carries. Okay, number 7 is approve increase for social service worker on all pay.
Okay, so at personnel, Jeremy Kane, right now, the social workers are paid, an hour per day, Monday through Friday, to be on call. They have to respond within half an hour,
For the whole day? What was it, $1?
an
An
hour,
hour.
so an hour there. And then on weekends, it's 2 hours for Saturday, 2 hours for Sunday, because, Monday through Friday, they're working 8 to 4:30, so they, here anyway. They get pulled out of their bed at all hours of the night, have to answer phone calls. So Jeremy is proposing increasing the on-call for the social workers by giving them an extra hour per day of pay. And a lot of that would be recoverable through, Medicaid, for the crisis response. We are a unique county in the sense that we have mobile crisis where, if there's an event, there needs to be mental health assessment, somebody arrives in person. Other counties contract with a service where they do it over the phone. So, the social workers don't have that extra obligation on onto it.
And
So-
and Jeremy believes that this on-call process that Jamie just described is a key component to what's keeping their, out-of-home care and adult service placements low. So that's a budget savings because we have the mobile crisis response.
And he wants another hour,
hour per day, so the cost, the estimated fiscal impact of that would be $11,051.87 per year,
$11,008.
$51.87. And this is based on current, 2023 rates, and this would take effect in 2024, so, with any wage increases, this would go up as well.
And then, you're in HHS, aren't you?
No.
Anymore.
Oh, you're not?
So he's putting it into his budget for, next year, and personnel instructed him to write a policy that would be specific to social workers to bring to personnel. Personnel decided that.
$1, it must be $1 per hour.
It's at their, it's their hour, their normal hourly rate, it's an on-call like stipend.
So instead of getting 2 hours, don't call man us, but instead of getting 2 hours man call, they get 3, right?
Correct.
Yep.
It's an additional hour.
Yeah, so like Monday through Friday, they'd get 2 hours per day, Saturday and Sunday, it'd be 3 hours per day, there's an extra, they get
Cause
extra
they're
time for
getting
holidays.
$1 an hour.
Not $1 an hour, an hour of pay.
All of their, because when they get called in,
No, it's like a.
For
it's
being
an-
on
it's
call.
It's called being, like, on-call pay.
I think so the on-call pay is $1 per
No,
hour.
it's an hour per day.
1 hour per day, whatever the hour.
So if
you
you're
Oh, so
making
they get a-
$24 an hour, they
okay.
get another $24 for that day.
Okay, I misunderstood that. So they're getting 1 hour of their normal wages for being on call. And then if they respond, I assume we pay them an hourly rate on top of that.
Yep, they
So
give
they get-
them 2
so-
hours. If it's a phone call, then it's just, at their normal time, overtime if they're in excess of 40
So
hours,
you,
they have to
you wanna
respond.
pay them 2 hours for being on call rather than 1.
Yes. And I don't know, he's really kinda just looking for your blessing to put it into the budget, and he's still going to take a policy to personnel for this change.
And he's already written the policy, I already have it for August personnel.
I thought I already heard about this one, so.
Coming out of-
You did. You guys wanted a policy back.
Oh,
So has it been to personnel yet?
Yes,
What's it supposed to come out of?
his budget, he'll budget for it. So he also said our current annual cost is estimated at $25,000 for the way we do it now, which is the mobile crisis response, less any reimbursement revenue. His quote from Northwest Connections, which is a company we can pay to do this for us, is between $75,000 and $100,000. So even if we go with this additional $11,000, it's still a significant savings to keep it
still
in-house.
half.
We're way ahead by doing this.
Let's
Still
go with
have.
the extra hour.
Now, what kind of motion are you looking for from us?
Forward the county board, approve it or for what? Yes, a forward, the only county board.
Well, personnel still gotta approve the policy, so we could just say,
Approve the fiscal impact.
Yes.
we approve the fiscal impact pending, policy approval from personnel.
Mhm.
And still have
As
to.
long as it's, absorbed in the budget, correct?
Is that a motion?
Sure, but don't say it again.
Okay, is there a second? Second by Phil. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. All opposed, say no. That motion carries.
Mr. Chair, is
Yes.
it okay if we serve dinner quick?
Yeah.
Take a 5-minute break?
Sure.
Okay, alright.
Okay, Bugsy.
The phone says you go out. And the alarm says, like 4 minutes,
I thought you had your dinner on